Well, it's not the first time GM crop contamination has been reported here in the U.S., but this time it could cost us billions of dollars. Earlier this month, a local farmer reported to the Washington State Department of Agriculture that his hay was rejected for export because it tested positive for a genetically modified trait that was not supposed to be in his crop. Now authorities are trying to figure out whether these claims are in fact true, and if so, how GM materials got into that crop. At this point, we don't know if the seeds the farmer bought were mislabeled, or if GM material was carried into the crops by wind, or if it was something else entirely. Regardless, this is not the first time West Coast farmers have dealt with GM contamination scares. In May, scientists confirmed the presence of a banned GM wheat growing in a field in Oregon. It was from an experimental wheat project that Monsanto ended back in 2005 in the middle of field trials. The wheat strain was never approved for market. Alfalfa is America's fourth largest crop and is the main feeding stock for the entire dairy industry. It's also the third most valuable crop Americans grow. So a discovery like this could have massive financial implications for the farmer, for Washington State, and for the entire country. And here's why. While GM hay might have been approved for commercial production here in the U.S., many foreign buyers will not accept it. ACX Pacific, which is a major exporter of alfalfa to countries like Japan and South Korea, China, and the Middle East, that company will not accept any GMO crops. And those countries are our biggest buyers of hay. In fact, just the fear of GM contamination caused both Japan and South Korea to temporarily halt buying U.S. wheat this summer. Now, in 2012 alone, alfalfa production was valued at $10.4 billion. Exports of the crop hit a record high that year, according to the USDA's Foreign Agriculture Service. It was grown on 17 million acres of land across the U.S. in 2012, and Washington State is one of the largest producers. If a discovery like this proves to be true, it could have far-reaching consequences for the organic dairy industry as well, which, by the way, is a $26 billion a year business because cows eat alfalfa. Nonetheless, biotech giant Monsanto doesn't seem to be too perturbed at the latest allegations. Spokesman Thomas Heischner said in an email to The Guardian, quote, "Variety purity standards followed by the alfalfa seed industry allow for low-level presence of impurities, including GM traits in conventional alfalfa seed. The potential presence of impurities is clearly stated on the label. If a grower is growing alfalfa for sensitive markets and wants specialized GM-free alfalfa, they can purchase non-detect alfalfa seed varieties, which is available from alfalfa seed suppliers." So it's not a big deal, at least according to Monsanto anyway. It should be pointed out, however, that these allegations come at a very interesting time in Washington State. That's because voters are currently weighing a ballot initiative that would require mandatory labeling of genetically modified foods. We'll have to wait and see if these new claims have any effect on how the public votes. Final test results from the Washington State Department of Agriculture could come out as early as today to tell us if that farmer's crop was in fact contaminated. In Washington, Meghan Lopez, RT.